I have often commented that every time politicians make changes that impact the cost of housing, they make it worse, never better. And it's happening again. Changes to the National Construction Code came into effect in Victoria and Queensland on the 1st of May. And this is adding up to $40,000 to the cost of building a new home through, amongst other things, the code's new energy efficiency standards. Now, the Housing Industry Association's chief economist Terry Ryder said this caused a spike in new home sales before the changes came into effect, and there'll be a slump in new home sales in coming months as home buyers rush to sign a contract for the construction of their new home before the end of April and the start of the new code. Ryder says New South Wales experienced the same phenomenon in September last year when the state introduced its latest energy efficiency standards, adding significantly to the cost of a new home there. Ryder says additional regulatory costs, such as the code changes, are one of the causes of the nation's acute shortage of housing. He says the changes are intended to achieve energy efficiency and accessibility outcomes, but they also force people out of home ownership and out of the rental market. He says ongoing changes to building codes will continue inflating the costs of construction, with the next phase of building regulations now open for public consultation. And he says if ever there was a good time to stop inflating the cost of home building, this must be it. Lowering the cost of delivering new homes to market is essential to achieving the federal government's target of 1.2 million new homes over the next 5 years and improving housing affordability across the country. Now, developers have warned also that additional infrastructure charges will work against the government plans to unlock more newly built homes and will make properties more unaffordable for buyers. The chief executive of AV Jennings, that's Phil Kearns, says about $200,000 of the cost of a new home is tied up in the fees and charges coming from all three levels of government. Kearns says it's very substantial, and now the National Construction Code will add another $30,000 to $40,000 worth of costs for mum and dad buyers to put up with. We have a government working against itself, he says, in trying to create more affordable housing. Now, a report by Savills for the Property Council of Australia found planned increases in the next 24 months to two recent infrastructure charges in Sydney. That's the new Sydney Water Development Servicing Plan and the Housing and Productivity Contribution charges will jeopardise the delivery of 190,000 homes in the city's west. Modelling in that report found a typical 250-unit apartment development and a 115-lot greenfield housing development will no longer be financially feasible, and they'll be significantly less feasible by 2026 under planned increases to those charges. In New South Wales, there are now currently 15 separate levies and taxes on new housing. The report found that in the Western Parkland region, which covers the area from Wallandilly in Campbellton and the far southwest, across to the Blue Mountains and the Hawkesbury region, that 33% of new home costs will be government fees and charges by 2026. In the Central River region, which includes Hillshire, Blacktown and the Bankstown region, the figure is 26% of the cost of new housing, which is government fees and charges. Ken says there's also the continued challenge to secure skilled labour, which continues to exacerbate delivery costs. He said the labour skill shortages, the tax situation and the difficulty in getting approvals through are preventing homes from being built. And he said blocks keep getting put in our way. Now, meanwhile, the Reserve Bank's chief economist, Sarah Hunter, has warned there are no quick fixes for the Australian housing market woes as developers defer projects due to high costs, sending dwelling approvals per capita to decade lows. The severe undersupply of homes means house prices and rents will continue to rise as the market fails to keep pace with strong demand for space fueled by high migration and more people working from home. Dr. Hunter says demand pressure, and so upward pressure on rents and prices, will remain until new supply comes online. And she says that usually rising prices and rents trigger a surge in new housing supply as investors and developers see opportunity to profit from new builds. But Dr. Hunter says a perfect storm of constraints has prevented the construction industry from responding to the current housing shortage. In the current circumstances, she says, many projects are simply not viable. And what all that means is that the shortage will continue for years to come, and the cost of buying and building homes will continue to rise.